Hello once again and welcome back to this episode of Hell Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. Coming up in this episode, Des Hasler and Manly Sea Eagles part ways. What does it mean for these two star brothers? IMG and the RFL's plans passed the club vote test, while one club is very public against it. Even though it's the eve of the Rugby League World Cup, we're going to keep our attentions domestically for a moment, as at a meeting of the Rugby League Council arranged for further discussions of the reimagining of Rugby League, recommendations presented by IMG last month, the RFL members today gave strong support to the principles and directions of the recommendations. The sports executives will now work with IMG to scope out the details of those recommendations. This will involve appropriate consultation with clubs and also other stakeholders. The work will sit alongside other work streams to maximise commercial potential of the sport and build deeper relationships with fans and new audiences. Members were assured that they will have further opportunity to register their views as the process continues. So, what were them recommendations in summary? Well, of these, first of all, the repositioning of a calendar which will optimize flow and narrative and engagement, incorporating regular peaks of interest and compelling season climax. Yeah, improvements in the actual calendar were always on the agenda, and there are a couple of things that needed changing. A calendar aligned with the global game to facilitate an international window in October and incorporate mid-season international. Is a wrong word there, should be some. The teams are away for 7 to 10 days, 2 internationals in there. Participation in the top tier to be based on a range of on and off the field measures, delivered through a club grading system with the aim of supporting financial sustainability and encouraging investment into clubs. Category A clubs will be guaranteed participation in the top tier, whilst Category B clubs will be reassessed annually, with highest ranked clubs occupying the remaining slots in the top tier. It is envisaged even that the grading will take place on an illustrative basis at the end of the 2023 season, with the changes to the competition structure delayed until 2025. That last one basically ends relegation for any clubs in the top tier and ends promotion, as it will be a set structure for the best run, best attended, best commercially viable, most appeal. I'm sure there'll be many more sorts of guidelines that IMG will be looking to create a financial return in their investment and their expertise. So it's up to the other clubs to get to that sort of level. Unfortunately, there will be some clubs that could possibly be left behind if they're not able to achieve, probably say by 2025, 7,000 average gate receipts. So we'll have to see what that comes with that. That's in my opinion. I may be wrong, just putting a disclaimer there. The other items that were considered were promotion and relegation to be continued on field of play between the second and third tiers, with tier 2 increasingly filled with strong Category B clubs. An expansion strategy to deliver targets and support the growth of the women's and girls game, and also growth into new markets. That second part after the comma should be the main target. We could use the women's game to grow Bristol, we could use the women's game to grow Oxford, but they need to be strong in their relative conference, shall we say that? Anyway, participation of clubs outside of the UK to be capped with additional standards to support domestic growth. Well, there's only one standard that should be considered in that point, in my opinion, and that's reducing the number of overseas players in Super League. Develop our own. Operations to be centralised where this can maximise efficiencies and drive incremental revenues, e.g. ticketing and digital infrastructure. From my sales experience, looking at it for the second time, it does sound like a shared best practice expertise rather than the financial part being together and distributed. It will be looking at the grading system for the operations. The operations will be used to help the grading system, should I say, because if you're bringing in massive amount of money and another team are bringing in minuscule amount of money, that's where you'll be pushed up a ranking in the broadest context, should I say. And finally, a new brand strategy to be introduced and aligned with the above commercial strategy. That's the part that played on my mind a little, to be fair. A new brand recognition. Does that mean that Super League's titling will be changed completely now that it's aligned with the RFL? Will it be the RFL Super League, the RFL Championship, the RFL League One? I don't know. Or will they go a different route? Super League's being used in a bad way for, shall we say, the European Super League in soccer. So why not have Rugby League in the title and also create a unified brand? I think that's what they're thinking. Disclaimer again, I may be totally wrong. But tell me in the comments what your thoughts are on these aspects, as there's a bit more of a, shall we say, backlash from a few clubs. I'm not happy with the changes coming about. According to the club's CEO at today's RFL Council meeting, Keighley Cougars were the only club to vote against the proposals by IMG to give relegation immunity to the elite clubs. Keighley Cougars say that they take pride in the promoting equality and fairness in all walks of life, both sporting and not sporting, which they have proven off the field with their pride marches and also them getting promoted this season through some fantastic work and some great organisational structure. They will probably be one of the big rated clubs at this point because their new proposals are coming for a new stand for the Danny Jones stand. It's still the same name but redeveloped completely. Anyway, I digress. They say in the statement to give elite clubs immunity from relegation runs contrary to their values. Equality at Cougar Park means people, society, and sport. What they all go on to say is to create a top division with elite clubs who can never face relegation is only in the self-interest of those involved. It is unfair. It is anti-competition and it isn't sport. Our managing director, Carl Garcia, spoke to the RFL Council that elitism is not what the sport is about and that the long term it will damage Rugby League. The Cougars are currently standing alone against the proposals, but we believe in our values in the long-term interest of our sport. Rugby League already has rules about standards that clubs need to attain to get into top division of the sport. These rules are understandable, attainable, and fair. What is not fair is for IMG to create a sport of elites to dominate and decimate the rest. Decimate the rest even. The vote today was in favour of equivalent of the failed European Super League in football. That was a statement that was brought along by Ryan O'Neill, Chief Executive of the Keighley Cougars, who said that this was rejected at this sort of idea was rejected at a this level when then Prime Minister committed to legislation against the European Super League, citing a cartel and it being against the basic principles of competition. Again, Keighley Cougars committed their voice to equality, and now they fight for the equality and fairness for our sport. Going back to politics, they got some rather unique and steadfast support from their local councillor. The MP for Keighley and Ilkley, Robbie Moore, came out with a steadfast statement. I stand unequivocally with the Keighley Cougars' position on the issue, and I admire the strong stance they have taken today, especially with being the only club to vote against the IMG's completely unfair proposals. The Rugby Football League and IMG should not be an elitist venture where clubs can pay to win with immunity from relegation. It's not fair and it's not sport. I will do all I can in Parliament to support Keighley Cougars in their efforts to reverse these ridiculous plans in favour of fair values in the long-term interest of the sport we all love. And he signed it on the Keighley's website. I applaud Keighley in their steadfast stance, as it is hard sometimes to come out as the lone voice of dissent, even if you feel that you may be wrong in some cases. But Keighley have got a point. The competition is what's at the heart of sport, and we need competition to grow. But the way that competition has been going about it at this moment in time, it has been elitist already. Now it gives the clubs opportunity, without impunity, to develop their fan base, develop their stadium, their training facilities, their match day revenues, etc., whatever IMG can do, and they'll be classified as an elite team. Fortunately, like I keep saying, some teams may go by the wayside. I won't be bringing it up, and I hate to say this because they're my grandfather's team and now place in the heart of it. But teams like Swinton, with no ground of their own, their fan base basically being decimated and reformed in different areas. There will be some loyalists who will be clinging on to the hope for Swinton, but it's going to be tough for a team like that. There are other teams in financial trouble at this moment in time. We have to do something. We have to reimagine something. We are not football either, but have their wealth. In what is a surprise that didn't surprise anyone, Manly Sea Eagles have announced the departure of Des Hasler as head coach with immediate effect. The Sea Eagles confirmed the news in the club's statement that the club has voted unanimously to resolve the situation by this decision and pursue a new direction in 2023. In the statement it says, after careful consideration, the board of the Manly Sea Eagles has today unanimously decided that, in the best interest of the club, Des Hasler will not be the head coach of the club for the 2023 NRL season. Manly Sea Eagles chairman Mr. Scott Penn said, the board and the club would like to acknowledge Des and his long history with the club as a player and as a coach, enjoying 2 premierships with the club as a player and taking the club to 2 more premierships as a coach. We are grateful and appreciative to Des for his dedication to the club, that the team and all of its supporters and sponsors for over a long period of time. Des will remain an icon of the club and an integral part of the club's history. The club is in discussion with Des and his management to reach an amicable resolution which is acceptable to both parties. A former Manly player through the 1980s and 90s, Hasler began his coaching career at the Seagulls in 2004, quickly leading the team to a semi-final in the following year before clinching the NRL Premiership in 2008 with a record-breaking 40 points to nil victory over Melbourne in the decider. After clinching his second Premiership in 2011, after being named Rugby League International Federation's Coach of the Year for the second time, Hasler joined Canterbury as the Bulldogs head coach in 2012. He was named Daily M Coach of the Year of that season as the Bulldogs made it all the way to the decider, where they lost to Melbourne, while a second grand final defeat followed in 2014 to South Sydney. That as Hasler then returned to Manly in 2019 and coached the Seagulls for the past 4 seasons, taking his career coaching tally to beyond 450 games in 2022. The Seagulls made the semi-finals in 2019 and was in the preliminary final in 2021, while missing the finals in 2020 and 2022. He leaves the Seagulls having coached the second most amount of games in that club's history. This is all coming off the back of stories emerging and surrounding Hasler's disagreements with the board recently, where he talked about the distractions of the rainbow jersey being introduced midway through the season without players' knowledge and consultancy of the management, and cited that as the reason why the performances have declined over that period. While it's not against the idea in principle, he just saw it disrupt the entire roster at that point and felt that they weren't put in the best position. Anyway, but since then, Hasler failed to meet the expectations for the board to extend his contract into 2024 by reaching the finals. Hasler used the rainbow jersey as a reason why he didn't reach those expectations and still wanted the same contract. Also in discussion was his preferred successor, where the Seagulls wanted Anthony Seibold, while it was the man Cronulla Sharks Josh Hannay to be his successor, his preferred choice to create his own dynasty. Despite this, it is understood that the preferred man for the job from Manly is Anthony Seibold, who is currently the assistant coach at England Rugby Union, so he would have to quit that job before he took the position, but reports are indicating that he's due to do so in due course. So it seems the removal of Hasler from the position has upset the players themselves, and they're looking for talks and called a meeting, according to reports, because of the circumstances. It's been reported that superstar fullback centre Manly's Tom Trbojevic has reportedly called an emergency meeting with his manager following the sacking of the head coach. After weeks of speculation, the Seagulls terminated Hasler, with Seibold, as we've said, expected to take over. And News Corp has reported that Trbojevic will be meeting his agent Paul Sutton via Zoom sometime today. Channel 9's Michael Chamas reported that the meeting will be about the 26-year-old's future. Tom will sit down over Zoom with his management company to discuss his future and what that holds, Chamas told 9 News. Tomorrow is a big day for the club. While News Corp reporter Danny Wilder said it would not surprise him if he asked for a release from his rich contract. Trbojevic may be signed until the end of 2026 on a $1.1 million a season deal. Both he and his brother Jake, who was shown in the previous picture, reportedly hoped to include a get-out clause in their contracts when they signed in 2019 if Hasler departed, but the club rejected those requests. It comes after Sutton told the News Corp on Wednesday that both Tom and Jake, local Manly juniors and the lifeblood of Seagulls, are unhappy and concerned that their beloved club is imploding. They both feel that the club they love is imploding in front of their eyes, said Sutton. They are really down in the dumps with the place. If it continues, it is wearing, and once the place becomes unsavoury, what do you do? If it becomes untenable. Obviously, you'd assume Tommy would be a Seagull for life, but all the internal rumblings and conflicts have taken a toll on him mentally. He has expressed to me his disappointment in the club's behaviour. He has expressed he is unhappy. Both Jake and Tom have. Jake has called me from England expressing how happy he was with the club. It is the same as Tom. This has taken a toll on him. All this has probably changed the narrative in terms of how they felt in the past. So the head coach, their star brother, team players are all discontent. It's going to be an interesting period in this pre-season. If we haven't even got to the end of 2022 yet, and already Manly are causing waves yet again. I'm sure that they're going to be in the news for the next 18 months with things like this. Always snowballs, I'm afraid. You have to wait and see, but tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way. So it's the Rugby League World Cup Eve. I'm having problems with it. And we have stories aplenty from the Rugby League world, and they will continue to come along. But our focus from now on will be the Rugby League World Cup. I'm sorry if we missed quite a few things. I'll try and do a weekly catch-up episode, but for now, it's the nations going after each other. Hopefully it will be a very competitive competition, and we'll start our Rugby League news episode early tomorrow. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. Tell me in the comments below what your thoughts are on today's episode, as normal. But in the meantime, please stay safe. Wish you all the best. Come on, England!